What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. Lies about India spread by foreigners. I've seen so many videos about lies about India, and after seeing many videos on India, still got a lot more to see, still got a lot more to learn. I've learned that India does have poverty, but India also has wealth. India also has progress. India also has beauty. There's so many different sides to India, and I feel like a lot of the foreigners do spread like it's just poverty, it's just slums, it's just, and that's also a lot of what we're showed in the media as well. I'm excited to get into this. Make sure you guys subscribe, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up. Let's do it.
I think India is really number one. Not just that, India is probably number one, number two, and number three.
This is Andy Lim, an entrepreneur from Singapore who moved to India to start a business 18 years ago. Andy shared the biggest misconceptions about India in Western media, explained why some Indian restaurants ask for payment in advance, and revealed the unwritten rules for doing business in India. I'm Max, a YouTuber and entrepreneur. Let's go!
What's the biggest misconception about India from the rest of the world, or from the Western world?
The Western media always like to project India as a poor, slum, overpopulated, very low GDP, very undeveloped, very uncultured. So it's a lot of negative things that we say about India, but it's most of these are untrue. You cannot say that the country is backdated when they have very fast 5G network. You cannot say that they are very unconnected when they have one of the best airports in Asia. Example, Mumbai airports and Delhi airports are very advanced. Though not very futuristic, but what they are supposed to have, they have it in the airport. The restaurants, the shops, the retail, they have all of them. When you try to say like the country is very poor, not true also, because their growth right now is also very exponential. So you could be reporting something that's very 10 years ago or 20 years ago versus what you have right now. Very strong IT, very strong finance hub, very strong pharmaceutical, very strong car manufacturing, very strong commodity manufacturing, steel, iron, oil. So it's not true to say that, it's like 30 years before China. It's not true. Some aspects they are, like rural area development, they are behind. If you compare like richness versus richness, then India is also very advanced. I think there's like, there are top 5 number of billionaires in Asia. Probably like number 4 or something. Also super rich, but they don't report that so much. And they also don't report that most of the food on the table is organic. People in Western world would spend a lot of money buying organic food, right? But there it's already very organic. We don't report that. And also we don't report that their healthcare system is very affordable. The best doctors, the best knowledgeable ones, the best practical ones are also in India. They don't report that as well. More on
that. All of that is definitely not reported to us. The development in India, I've seen multiple videos and I've seen how developed India actually is, and where India wants to go with their development, and definitely awesome. And I feel like Western media definitely is not going to show a lot of that, I guess because they want to hold India down, because India's, they're on pace to become definitely a global superpower. But yes, we just get lied to, I feel like, a lot. Like the billionaires, you wouldn't know that unless you, I guess you kind of look into India. But there's a lot of amazing things coming out of India. Affordable healthcare is beautiful. As a Westerner that lives in the United States, affordable healthcare, I don't even have healthcare, dog, because it's just expensive. And so even with insurance, if you go to the hospital for almost anything, it's still like a good amount of money coming out of your pocket. If you don't got to go to the hospital, you still got to pay a good amount of money for good health care or good insurance to have access to good health care. Didn't know that India had the best and most practical doctors in the world. So this is a lot of new information for sure.
Negative reporting, not so much on the positive. That's 100%. The biggest misconception.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's kind of, let's say, American media, they portray China is like
Oh, human trafficking.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah.
But like India, do you think India also like perceived as an enemy to the Western world? So why the reputation is actually worse than the reality for India?
I
Good
think
question.
the Western world reports India in a backdated world, but not so much as an enemy. Western world doesn't report India as an enemy. In fact, they're
compared
trying
to China.
they are trying to bring them up also.
Okay.
Western world is trying to bring Vietnam and India up in manufacturing and IT. If you realize a lot of the top companies, CEOs are also Indian. It's
Yeah.
unlikely that India is an enemy of US. But however, saying that, India wants to have a stance on its own. It
Yeah.
doesn't want to become like the China of US like 20, 30 years ago. China became a manufacturing hub for the Western world 30 years ago. That's how they boom overnight. India doesn't want to be like this. India wants to be wants to stand on its
feel
own
that.
ground. They want to believe that they are strong not because of foreign investment. They are strong because of their own knowledge, their own culture, not because
I like
of
that.
Western pushing. Unlikely India will become like enemies 20, 30 years later of the Western world. Very unlikely.
Yeah.
More likely they would be on their own ground. They will be, friends, and they will still become friends and foes of, example, China. They have the border issue, but they will not be like extreme. I will not be too friendly with you, but I will also not be an enemy of you. And that has always been a historical trend. India doesn't invade others in history. It was always being invaded, like Alexander the Great invaded India. The Mughals in today's world, Iran, Afghanistan invaded India, but they never invaded others. Still, they have some differences with China and Pakistan, but they don't invade others. So I don't think they want to actively become enemies with anyone. But still, they would still try to grow their own defense and make sure they're super strong. And in time to come, they will. Because they launched the cheapest and good rocket to, I think was Moon, right?
Yeah.
At a fraction of Tesla's cost. Imagine what they can do with their defense budget. Good weapons at an affordable price. I mean, they are already working on that right now as we speak. Better planes, submarines, warships. They are really growing super fast the last 10 years after the new government came up. Definitely a force to reckon with in the world standing order.
Yeah.
Maybe top 3 for sure in a matter of time. I mean, they've already projected that their GDP will be like number 3 or something. Now it's like number 4, number 5. And because of the sheer size of population, it would just become number 3 by default. If you look at it from a business perspective, it's also good to invest there. GDP is strong, very highly educated, graduates, very affordable land prices, very strong stock market, and very English-oriented legal system. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Even though there are like red tapes, other than India, where else in the world to invest?
So it sounds like India is the best country in the world to invest in. Everything's strong, everything's going up, everything's developing, but everything, more importantly, is also affordable, right? Whereas in other parts of the world, it's just not. How cost of living is just shooting up exponentially, and things just don't seem as affordable as not the case in India. Created a rocket to get to the moon and had a fraction of the price of Tesla. Putting more money into the defense budget, going to create great weapons at a fraction of the price probably. It just sounds like India is further developing. And he said they don't want to be an enemy of anybody, but India wants to be able to stand on its own. India doesn't want to say we got here due to so much help from the U.S. or due to so much help from this country or that country or due to help from Europe. No, India wants to say we got here like because we worked hard. We're very knowledgeable. We got here on our own. You feel me? So they don't want like heavy investing, I'm sure, from other countries, which that's absolutely incredible to be able to stand on your own and continue to rise as a superpower and continue to raise your GDP and get up there. I think India is doing incredible things. India has an incredible people, incredibly knowledgeable people, very smart and very resilient. I think India is gonna. I mean, and from all the videos I've seen, all the predictions, it just sounds like India is definitely on the rise, on a rapid rise.
I mean, of course, there's Southeast Asia nearby, but if you want to grow big, like really scale up, then for sure India would be a good location.
What's like unwritten rules that exist in India? Let's say when you do business, something that people don't talk about, but they exist.
I think just be careful, be mindful of your debtors, because Indian cultural payment is slow, right? People don't like to pay, but they like to receive. So you may end up delivering goods and services, but your payment comes 1 year later. I mean, it happened to us also.
Oh,
so just
wow.
be mindful that you are well protected, that your payment comes back at the end of the day. Don't get played out.
And how you make sure that your payment will be on time?
So for my case, I try not to work with small companies. Right, always make sure that there's something legalized to protect yourself. Always make sure that in case if something goes wrong, something is there to protect you. Because the legal system is not super strong in India.
Yeah.
So example, if you have somebody owes you $10,000, so to their legal system is raise a case, go through the small courts, then the high courts, go through the entire process, which will take you years. For $10,000, it takes you years.
Oh, wow.
So it's not worth it. So instead of waiting for that to happen, let's not go that direction. Let's work with maybe bigger companies who are more worried about their reputation, not companies that can close overnight. Yeah, because in China it happened frequently. Even big companies, they close and they run away.
Oh, wow.
So just keep yourself protected. Be careful of your debts. I mean, for restaurants also, somebody can just buy a full table and then run away. Then you have to use your CCTV and all these things to catch them. But in the end, you still have to go through a legal system, the long wait. So in the end, it's not worth it.
Because happened to you?
Yeah, I don't have a restaurant in India, but I know it happens often.
Wow.
Freeloaders are common. And only because of that, that's why some of the restaurants, they tend to ask payment first. That too.
How to socialize with
if that's happening frequently, then it only makes sense that like, hey, nah, we need you because of others. We need you to pay for your meal up front before we can give it to you, and that's completely understandable because they don't want that people to keep running out on them, and it seems like the legal process, like you said, isn't strong, and if you have to go through all that just to get your money, it's almost not worth it at that point. So he said he doesn't like to deal with smaller companies, likes to deal with the bigger companies who worry about their reputation, and that just kind of, and then have something legally to protect yourself. And I'm sure that's stuff he's learned just from experiences in business. You live and you learn.
That too.
How to socialize with Indians? What's the best way to make friends in India?
Beer.
Beer.
It's still beer.
Same as everywhere, basically.
Beer is a common language still. Okay, if you go to a city or state which is not so westernized, you try to talk to let's say a woman, just asking for direction, right? Then maybe it's already harassment. Okay, in Delhi and Mumbai it's okay, but imagine you're going to a rural
area.
I mean, you don't talk to a girl, right? Because it's very, they respect their privacy a lot, right? So when you talk to a girl, you have to be careful, right? I mean, you have to mind your manners. When we go to a big city, right? Let's say you go to a bar, when you buy a beer, I think that's like a common language. People are trying to chill out, they are trying to relax over a beer or a whiskey, right? I mean, that's very straightforward. It's very relaxed way, right? But if you're like, you're a stranger, you're a tourist, right? You're trying to ask for direction in a big city, I think they're okay. And then, you want to exchange numbers, asking for ways later, or exchange Facebook, Instagram, I think it's okay. No hard and fast rule about how to go about it. People are generally okay about it. But if you go to a rural site, then maybe, you have to mind your manners a bit more. Because more strict, more family rules, etc. But for big cities, no problem. Ask for direction. You can talk to a stranger, make some friends. Especially in a bar, people are also trying to make friends there. So it's very casual.
Yeah, I noticed it. People are super friendly.
Super casual.
Super open to talk, actually. They're not afraid, like in big city, they're not afraid to talk with you. They're even like curious. They start asking questions.
I mean, you could be even more friendly there in Mumbai as compared to here. In Singapore, you try to talk to a stranger, the first impression is like, they always look down. I mean, I don't mean look down as in looking down on the person. The eyes,
they're like busy.
the eyeball will be like, no,
Shy.
if you talk to a stranger, the person would try to like size you up.
Oh wow!
Looking at what you wear or like trying to, yeah. The first impression.
Yeah.
Like you talk to a stranger, you know, if you're talking from the side, you know, the eyeballs will be like that. Yeah, it's a Singaporean thing. If you realize, like, you know, like, okay, well, but once that shock is over, then he would start to like talk to you. Yeah. I'm not sure if you experienced this in Bali or Bangkok, but it's a Singapore thing because people they're still quite wary here, lah.
Yeah.
But in Mumbai, Delhi, you won't sense this. You ask the question, you get your answers immediately. It may not be direct answer, you may not be correct, but still people try to answer you. Like,
so in these big cities, it seems like people are very friendly, very nice, very open, willing to talk to you, willing to help you out. In the rural areas, you got to be a little bit more careful. Just mind your manners more, which 100% makes sense. And beer is a common language. Like everywhere in the world, it feels like beer is a common language. Go into a bar, everybody's friendly, right? Everybody's nice. People are trying to make friends. So it's easy to go in and talk to people. And this Singaporean thing, I size you up. I feel like when a stranger talks to me, I don't try to size them up, but I guess in my head, it's like, what does this person want from me? And maybe the American in me, it's just like, you feel like no stranger is gonna talk to you like unless they want something. So as soon as it's like, I'm very nice, always very approachable. But in my head, I'm wondering like, what are they talking to me for? Like, what do they want? Not in a mean way. It's just I'm trying to figure out why they decided to talk to me.
initially when I ask for direction, go straight lah. Just go straight. Yeah, straight. It's a generic answer. Go straight. Even though the right place is behind. Hey, go straight lah. Yeah. Yeah. So initially I was played around a few times lah. Go straight. Yeah. Actually, it's behind lah. Yeah, but it's a slang thing. It's a cultural thing. Go straight.
What's the common topics that people like to talk about? Like in Singapore, food. Like where you go makan is like the topic that everyone would talk. But what, in India,
the first few questions is always, how's your family lah?
How's your family?
Yeah. How's your daughter? I get that most of the time.
Yeah.
Within the first 3 questions. Singapore, I think it's more subject oriented. Like example, you go to an outing with your friend. I mean, the moment you sit down, it's like maybe not so much about how are you. Hey, what to order? Straight to the point.
Yeah,
Since we are here for tea,
yeah.
therefore we straight away go to the subject. But over there it's more relaxed, more casual. How's your family? You know, how's your wife? How's your husband? Example. Yeah. It's more like a casual thing of asking, not really a intrusion of privacy. It's more like a casual thing. But some Singaporean may not like it. Like, why are you asking about my mom?
Yeah.
My mom is 75 years old on a wheelchair, example, at home. She's not feeling well. Why are you asking me?
Yeah.
So difference in culture, but once you're used to it, I think it's okay.
I noticed it as well. Like even taxi drivers, if you chat with them, they're like, oh, do you have wife? Do you have kids? How old are the kids? So they're very curious about your family.
Yeah. But Singapore, no lah. I think it's a private thing.
I think Singaporeans try not to bother you too much.
Yeah.
So they like...
Yeah. They're worried of asking stupid questions.
I don't know. They maybe just don't want to like make you uncomfortable or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And they are also worried of not being part of the subject. You know, when you go out, you always have a meaning. Like example, if you go clubbing, you go football, you go for a beach, it's always about that subject. It's always very focused and subject oriented.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you go out,
I guess in Singapore it's less about, hey, how's everybody doing? How's your family doing? It's more about, we came here for a reason, and we go for tea. Hey, what you want? What you gonna order? What kind of tea you want? It's not. I guess we're in India. It's more, you start out, hey, how's your family doing? How's everything okay? How's your mom? How's your... In Singapore, nah, we going to the beach, it's about the beach. We're going to have tea, it's about the tea. It's more straightforward, I guess. It's kind of what it sounds like.
In example, in India, you know, it's more casual. We don't have a mission tonight.
Okay.
We don't have like a target. But unlike here, you know, when you go out, I mean, in my younger days, tonight we have to get drunk. Tonight we got to get drunk. You know, when you go partying, that's the common target. We have to get drunk.
Yeah.
So we don't have that kind of target in India. Just chill and just relax. Hospitality is super strong in India. I'm not sure if you heard about the hotel chain called Taj. Taj is owned by Tata.
Okay.
And they're like top few hotels in the world. Although they're not Marriott's, but they value the hospitality a lot. There's another group called ITC. They make the best hotels in India and they're always in the palaces. So it's more like a cultural thing, right? And guests, when you come to people's home, they have a saying, they value you as king actually. I think they respect that you coming all the way, you spending time going into a very local home. So they don't have much, I mean, especially for foreigners, it's not like every day they get a foreigner going inside their home. So it's a kind of prestige also. Sometimes you may get a host showing you off, hey, I got this friend from Singapore, I got this friend from China, I got this friend from Europe.
Yeah.
So for them, it's also a kind of pride, I guess. So it's the hospitality and the friendliness, right? In a friend's home, automatically the tone comes down. They're more casual. Because they are not so, you know, for us, we like to, go to Robertson Quay, go to Clarke Quay. But for them, they're more homely. So it's always more about a relative's home. That's when they can really calm themselves down and be themselves.
Let me show you some magic if you click on this video.
So it does sound like India is definitely very welcoming, big on hospitality. I've seen that in multiple videos, huge on hospitality. And they are more casual than I guess in Singapore, in China. More casual, more willing to talk to you, more willing to help out. Where I guess in China it's more of a straightforward thing. And then you're not going out for a mission. Where in Singapore it's like this is the mission tonight. It's less of that in India. So that was great. That I feel like the lies were more in the beginning of the video, and then he kind of was giving more of a comparison between his life in India, his life in Singapore, his life in China. And so you kind of got that comparison, which was cool. But that's all we have. If you like that reaction video, make sure to check out this one. You guys will like it just as much. I'll see you on the next one. It's your boy Neal, out.